might be able to tell you what happened before you lost your memories. Unfortunately, Sir Balan has been imprisoned by Sir Malagent, the ruler of Garloth. You set out to free Sir Balan. You and Sir Balan used to be brothers in arms as fellow knights of the Round Table. It's been a while since you fought together, but as it turns out, he might be the only one who could shed light on what happened on that fateful night in the Sanctuary of the Grail before you lost your memories. You freed Balan from the captivity of Sir Malagant, and now you must talk to him. Sir Balan looks tired and weary from the long captivity, but he is still the same man you remember. After greeting you, he tells you that he is glad to see your recovery, but you assure him that you don't regard yourself as healed until your memories have returned. The knight is obviously surprised.
You say you cannot remember what happened? I was hoping to get an explanation for that madness. Of course, I know the events of that day, but I have no idea how it came about.
Somewhat disappointedly, you ask him again about his recollections.
I was standing guard that night at the assembly hall in Meacham, when I heard the Queen screaming, so I rushed into the hall. I only know that the king wanted to sit in judgment on a traitor, and he wanted you to be a witness. He also needed the Grail because nobody is able to tell lies in its vicinity. The king did not send for the Grail. Instead, he went to the shrine where it was kept. Only the king, the queen, you, and Sir Kay were there. So I rushed inside, but I suddenly halted when I saw what was happening there. The king was lying on the floor, bleeding from a terrible wound, and you were fighting with Sir Kay. You stood your ground next to the king's motionless body and traded blows with Sir Kay ferociously, who was slowly forced to fall back towards the magical gate. Lady Guinevere tried to protect the king with her own body and looked up at you with beseeching eyes. It looked like he was breathing, but I did not have time to take a closer look. There was a deep cut on his side, but I think a healer might easily have cured him. I immediately drew my sword and stepped towards you, Lancelot, and demanded an explanation. But at that very moment I saw the blinding light of the Holy Grail growing stronger and stronger, and then it exploded into a magical maelstrom that filled the hall with shards. The huge maelstrom, which devoured the power of the Grail, picked me up like a straw, and I was sent spinning towards the hole opening up in the air. When I regained consciousness, I woke up to chaos all around me. Yes, except for the king. He must have been saved by the sacrifice of the queen, but we weren't that lucky. We found ourselves facing a group of surprised but well-armed warriors. Later, I learned that it was the Red Tower of the Red Knight, far, far away from Meacham, up here in cruel Cumbria. It is hardly more than a pile of stones now. When we arrived, the Red Knight and his warriors were waiting for us. They seemed quite surprised. The Red Knight only wanted to help the king's assassin flee. Not really. The walls of the tower cracked from the lashes of the magical energy raging inside. Everybody tried to flee from the hall and tried to save themselves from the wild magic and falling stones. Sir Kay grabbed the unconscious body of the queen and ran for the door. I hurled myself after him, but I tripped over your body. You were on the ground. Your back was covered in blood. When I stood up again, Sir Kay had disappeared, so I reckon I saved you. Even if I had managed to catch Sir Kay, it would have been in vain. If I had started a fight with him, we all would have perished. I only pulled you out from the ruins, and we were scarcely able to flee from the soldiers of the Red Knight. You were seriously injured, remember? Yes, I know. However, I thought that time that you had been injured by the falling stones or by the magical raging storm. I don't have too much to say. I dragged you to a monastery, left you with the abbot, then hurried after Lady Guinevere and Sir Kay. I was on my way to Lothian when that evil Maligent took me prisoner.
Sir Balan offers you his hand.
I will gladly serve and fight at your side again, Sir Lancelot. You have one more noble knight in your army, and a venerable hardened veteran at that.
My lord, I'm still trying to make sense of what I have heard from Sir Balan. He suggested that Sir Kay himself attacked the king on that night in the Shrine of the Grail. If it is true, I will make him pay for what he did. I'm determined to find him at all costs. The traitor is hiding in a haunted castle where the wall between the worlds is weak and time flows at an unnatural pace. But even that won't be enough to stop me. There are many strange tales about the Red Knight around here. Some say that he used to be a powerful marauder who turned into something greater, something that no one should ever crave for. There are others who think that he's nothing but a prisoner of the mysterious Red Lands. I can't vouch for the truth of either of these rumors, and honestly, I don't even care. The only thing that matters to me is that according to Sir Balan, the Red Knight has the answer to some of my questions, and believe me, I will make him tell me the truth. On my way. Yes, my liege.
Your wish? On my way!
After you have arrived in the northern lands through the mystical gate, Oberon, the mysterious king of the Sidhe, invited you to his court. You decided to accept the invitation, since you know that pursuing Nimue and freeing Merlin here in the unknown lands would be impossible without help. The Sidhe warrior who passed on the invitation said that you will be guided by the soft rains and the animals of the forest. The wind blows to the west, and the wild geese of the air are heading northwest. During the day, you see many wild geese flying over your head, and they are all heading northwest. After sundown, they land in a glade on the shore of a lake. When you are ready to break camp in the morning, a strong wind starts to blow from the southeast. The boars forage for food in the undergrowth, then start to roam to the west. The road begins to slope, and the boars keep heading north. Soon you reach a valley enclosed by high hills. The boars stampede through the valley in haste. This is an ideal place for an ambush. Shortly before sundown, you meet a group of Sidhe warriors. They want to know why you came here, and when you tell them about your meeting with Oberon, they lead you to a rocky plateau. The oldest of the Sidhe waves his hands around and tells you that Oberon will hear your words in this place. When you turn back, you see a young fox to the side of the plateau. It is looking at you with wide open eyes and scratches its ear. A cold wind blows around you, and the valley below is covered with thick fog. You briefly recount the fight between Nimue and Merlin, your duel with the sorceress, and tell him that you want to set your master free. When you are done, the fox yowls, and the wind blows away the fog. You suddenly see a mortal camp. You find a Christian camp in the valley. This is interesting. You would never have thought that you'd see something like this here. There are 24 knights and a group of spearmen. The guard leads you to a white tent decorated with red crosses. An elderly knight greets you and asks you if you were sent here by the mighty Oberon.
Then you have to wait your turn, my lady,
The knight snorts.
Oberon promised to help us against the demons in the west. I would gladly leave this accursed forest, but he's still too cowardly to leave his warriors under our command. Our kingdom is surrounded by the wilderness of Oberon, and it is quite small indeed, but still we are independent. We might build a huge empire if we could penetrate westward, but we have to overcome the Fomorians there first. This is our mutual interest with Oberon. Because our numbers are few, the kingdom of Alba is protected by the holy shield of Saint Joseph of Arimathea. The saint drew a cross on the shield with his own blood, so it is as powerful as the greatest relics. We are the Knights of the Order of the White Shield. We are the defenders of the kingdom of Alba. Our founder was Saint Joseph of Arimathea, who brought the Holy Grail to Britannia.
The knight scratches his head.
That is true. Maybe that is why Oberon sent you here. You are neutral, and you have an insufficient number of soldiers. Only one question remains. What do you want for leading this army?
I'm hunting an unseelie sorceress who fled here from the south. Help me find a way to defeat her.
The knight ponders this for a while. Then he nods. Just then, a soldier walks into the tent and reports the arrival of some Seelie warriors. Outside the tent, a she-warrior greets you. I salute you, Morgana Le Fay. I have come here with the army of Oberon. Lead them against the Fomorians and enlist the Knights of the White Shield. I also bring you a present from our king, a herd of wargs. You tell the she-warrior to give your regards to his king, then turn to the old knight and order him to get ready to march in the morning. Battle awaits.
Yes?
There are adepts among the Sidhe, who mortals... The former Guardians of the Grail have scattered all across Britannia to recover the missing shards of the shattered Holy Grail. You might use their experience to gain a better understanding of the shards, but they are not easy to find. The Regent of Medisham... The monasteries in Medisham have been centers of culture, science, and art. The scholars of Medisham have a considerable reputation as the masters of the arcane.
Your magic shield is under normal strength. Your spell was absorbed.
Fire!
Your magic shield is fading. Victory is near. A spell has been cast. A spell was cast. The enemy started to capture one of your locations. A spell was cast. A spell was cast.
By the gods of the ancients, how I hate this desolate wilderness! There is nothing here but mountains that breathe cold mists, and savages who are ready to rip out each other's throats for a small plot of land. Still, I could use their help against the Picts, who are guarding that unseelie Nimue. Lord Oberon granted me audience with the giants of the north, who need my help to destroy a Nethergate. Although I have only a shred of confidence that this meeting could even be vaguely helpful, I will attend.
After the Fomorians have been eradicated from the Highlands, a messenger from Lord Oberon informs you that they have found Nimue. She bewitched a strong Pict tribe to the northeast, so you'll need more allies to confront her. He suggests you turn to the other Pict tribes and the giants who live nearby. There is a Fomorian nest forming in their domain. Perhaps you could use that to gain their trust.
On my way!
Yes, my liege. On my way.
My lord, we need your help. The land between Hadrian's Wall and the Antonine Wall is huge territory, currently divided between 3 Pict tribes. They once served the Witch Queen of Orkney, but our spies report that they have now severed all ties with their monarch. They are free to satisfy their need for destruction and bloodshed, and who knows what they will do without firm leadership. The Sentinels cannot deal with them alone.
The She Council has been the most secretive of all.
On my way.
You must find Sir Kay in a haunted castle, where the wall between the worlds is weaker, and a desperate man could try to break into the pathways of the Sidhe, which are now out of reach. It's a strange place where time flows at an unnatural pace, and everything can be deceiving. Castle Roxburgh is a majestic ruin. The outlines of the old towers cut into the ashen sky like jagged blades. The windows are gaping holes and crows circle above the decrepit rooftops. You are alone on the plain, and suddenly you feel that the castle is bigger than you thought. You walk through the open gate and enter an empty hallway. You immediately feel the closeness of the other world to this place. The cold draft on your face carries the stench of winter mist, and soft whispers fill the silence. You see 2 doors leading in different directions. The door slams shut behind you with a thud, and it won't budge at all. Suddenly, a cold wall of mist sweeps through the empty corridor, and ghastly shapes appear from the haze. They begin to take shape, forming flesh from the fog, radiating freezing cold. There are dozens of them. You sweep away the ghosts, but suddenly you realize that your last foe is Sir Kay himself.
Traitor!
You bellow at him.
You broke your oath as a knight of the Round Table.
You are surprised to hear that he echoes your exact words, and it fills you with sheer hatred. You rush at him with a mighty swing of your sword. Your anger gives you impossible strength, and he can't defend himself. Then you glimpse your fallen foe, and you are stunned to see that he's King Arthur. Then he disappears as a vision, and you walk away. It all feels like a dream. You walk into a hall where rusted suits of armor line the walls like empty metal shells. Here you can feel the presence of the ghosts much stronger, but you don't see any apparitions. Instead, you find a strangely clean weapon that clearly must be magical. You decide to take it. You reach a hall where the floor has fallen in and the gaping hole reaches to the door. You take a step when the stones fall from under you and you fall into the abyss. You can hardly grab the ledge and you look up to face Sir Kay. "You killed the king, traitor!" he shrieks. Your hatred gives you the strength to get out of the abyss and grab Kay with a vicious lunge. He plunges into the deep, and suddenly you think you saw him disappear in a blinding light that reminds you of something you'd forgotten. Then it's over, but it still feels like a dream. You wander through dark corridors, but you have no idea for how long. You've lost your sense of time. Everything feels so unreal here that you don't bat an eyelid when you step into a room and see Sir Kay before you. A ghostly, monstrous shape holds him in place with its ethereal tentacles. The strange creature is so lost in whatever terrible thing it's doing with Sir Kay that it only becomes aware of you when the sword cuts into its tentacled head. You watch it die in pain. Then you stare grimly at Kay. You think that he's dead, when suddenly his face twitches. Kay opens his eyes, and to your greatest amazement he looks at you with relief. You saved me, Lancelot, as you always do. As a knight, I can't forgive what you did to King Arthur, but I'm grateful as a mortal man. You see that he's dying, and there is nothing you can do. You look for answers in the emptiness where your memories once were. Could it be true what Kay told you? What about the visions you saw here? Was it all deception, the curse of this place? Why would you have attacked your king? You leave the castle determined to find the truth.
Yes, my liege. Ready to serve.
There are adepts among the Sidhe.
The Picts roaming beyond Hadrian's Wall are a constant threat to the realm, particularly now that you've destroyed the magic that kept the wall alive. You must find a way to deal with these savages.
Yes, my liege. Yes, my liege. Yes, my lord.
The shard of the Shattered Grail has lost its powers since it bears the impression of a soul, namely one of Merlin's apprentices. This impression is like a curse, and it can only be removed in the Cathedral of Canterbury. Following the advice of Sir Percival, you try to find Sir Galahad, who can help you to get into the heavily guarded Christian territories of the Saxons. The hills east from Meadsham are infected. The curse of the Fomorians has destroyed the once verdant land. The only sound you hear is the crackling of dead twigs as you walk on dried grass. Sir Galahad leads regular patrols to this desolate area to fight the Fomorian warbands. Thanks to the reports of your scouts, your army successfully avoids the hordes wandering through the desolate province, and easily destroys the smaller bands. Soon you see a military camp under Christian flags in a valley to the north. Noble Sir Galahad has changed terribly. The Fomorian magic has turned him into a twisted travesty of a Grail Knight. Still, his voice is the same when he welcomes you as an old ally. When you wonder why he ventured north, he only grins and wants to know what you're doing here.
God gave me a powerful weapon against that monstrosity called Grendel, and I shall use it. I almost destroyed it once, but it has opened a gate to the otherworldly prison from where the Fomorians came, and Grendel can't be killed as long as the gate exists. Grendel is different,
says Galahad grimly.
According to the Holy Inquisition, he is one of the champions of that twisted god Balor. Therefore, he has part of his power. But I know that the gate is his weak spot, so it must be destroyed first. I learned that the marshland druids know how the Fomorian gates can be destroyed, so I captured them, and I will make them close these unholy gateways. You have a growing sense of unease. From the Grand Master of the Order of Beowulf himself, says Galahad proudly. He's obviously clueless about this game, where he himself is one of the pieces on the board. He is short-tempered, so you are glad that you are not the one who has to tell him the sad truth. Galahad listens to you in disbelief, and his face turns desperate when you tell him that the Shard of the Grail has lost its power. When you tell him that it can only be restored in Canterbury, he sadly shakes his head. Just think, everybody knows about your temper and your burning Christian faith, and your hatred for Grendel is no secret either. And the Knights of Beowulf, who despise you because of your wound and your power, suddenly tell you how to destroy the gate? What a coincidence! You turn against the pagan tribes, then attack Grendel, who will most likely kill you. But even if you survive the fight, the warriors of the vengeful tribes are gathering against you. You'll die, while Grendel and the tribes become weaker. Who gains from all of this? The Order! When you are finished with your arguments, Galahad is pale as snow. Now he sees the treacherous web of lies and deceit that he was just about to walk into. He stays silent for a while, then asks your opinion. Sir Galahad looks hopeful for a minute, then despair gets the better of him again. If I follow your advice, it means that I will openly antagonize the Order of Beowulf, he says. Galahad looks resolute again, and with a firm shake of hands he confirms that he is accepting your offer. He calls for his warriors, gives them the necessary orders, then leaves you. It is time for you to get ready to fight.
Your magic shield is under normal strength. Your spell was absorbed. A spell was cast. Your magic shield is under normal strength. Your magic shield is under normal strength. A spell was cast. Your magic shield is under normal strength. A spell was cast. A spell was cast. The enemy has cast a spell. A spell was cast. A spell was cast. A spell has been 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 cast. The enemy has cast a spell. A spell has been cast. A spell has been cast. With Galahad at your side, you've defeated the Fomorian monstrosity that the Saxons call Grendel. Now you are free to travel to Canterbury.
Ready to serve. Yes, my liege.
Yes?
On my way!
Yes, my liege.
All right.
Yes, my lord.
Ignoring the orders of the knights.
Yes, my lord.
Yes?
Ready to serve. On my way.
Your wish? All right.
Oberon told you that Nimue found shelter among the northern Pict tribes. This is the perfect opportunity to destroy the Fomorian gate that has opened on the border between the land of the Picts and the Furbolg giants. Lord Oberon intervened on your behalf, so you will be able to offer your help to the Furbolg king. The camp of the giants is small by their standards, but still bigger than anything you have ever seen. There are more than 100 giants here, and since they are all warriors, you see women and children as well. They are a formidable army, particularly with their wargs. The king is a muscle-bound warrior, taller than 4 men. He grins down at you and greets you in his thundering voice. You don't have to be afraid here. You don't look like the females of the tribes, more like one of the crystal people of the forest who call themselves she. The king nods. So you are a crystal human who possesses great powers. So be our guest at tonight's feast. The warrior sent by the king of the crystal people told us why you are here. But we have to wait until the king of the wasteland tribes arrives. Now eat. The enormous servings of meat start to arrive on big, flat stones instead of